We're continuing in the Hagada from R Ovadia Yosef. So he asks the following question. So in the Halachmanya, we start talking about the matzah, and then we invite people to come to the house, and then we say the Shana Ba B'Yushalayim. So he says that he says the following. He says there's a pasuk in Echa that says Galta Yehuda Me'oni. Yehuda, Bnei Israel, were in galut from poverty. So he brings the midrash that says that we went into galut, we lost the Bet HaMikdash because oni is poverty, lechem oni is matzah. Unfortunately, in the first Bet HaMikdash, where Bnei Israel even committed the cardinal sins of murder, idolatry, and adultery, they committed other sins as well, and among them was eating chametz on Pesach, lo alenu. And says the Midrash, Galta Yehuda Me'oni, because they didn't keep the lechem oni. And also that they stole from Aniyim. If they violated murder, they violated also Gezer. Lo alenu, got to those levels. And therefore, on the night of the Seder, we open up the Seder by saying, this is the lechem oni. I'm, Baruch Hashem, keeping Pesach. Number two is I'm inviting guests to come to my house. I'm not stealing from the poor, but I want to give to the poor. And therefore, if we have that zechut, then we could be the Shana Ba B'Yushalayim. We could have the zechut again of the Bet HaMikdash. He brings a story here. It's a famous story that they say that also in the yeshivot, but he brings it down here as well. The story from the Bet HaLevi, or Yosef Ber of Brisk, and he says that there was once a person that came and asked him, "Are you yotzeh the 4 cups of wine by drinking 4 cups of milk?" He came to ask a question, a halacha question. So the rabbi, you have to read into any time that someone asks you a question. So he says, hold on a second, let me check. He went to his wallet and he gave him a big amount of money. He says, well, I didn't ask you about money. I asked, can I have milk on the seder, not money? He says, please, take it. And the guy eventually took it. His wife says, why are you giving money for? He just asked Allah a question. If he's asking, can he have milk instead of wine, that means he doesn't have wine, he doesn't have meat. How can you have meat and milk? If you have milk, he doesn't have nothing. He has to take milk's more expensive. You're a milk guy, that's right, to the milk guy. Whoa. So you have to kol dichvin, you have to think about your to bring people over, to take care of people. He brings a second case of the Aruch HaShulchan that was asked right before Pesach, a difficult question as far as a mixture that it's before Pesach and something chametz mixed in. Can I use it now? And this would have lost this lady's entire meal. And he went into his office and he was looking up the Sfarim. And time was going by. And after a long time, the family member came in and said, "It's almost going to be shul. Time is going by." And they came in a second time. It's almost shul. Like, please, the lady's waiting here. She understands, but you're taking so much time researching it. He said to his family members, how could I go to shul, and how could I go and now come back to a beautiful seder table where this lady might lose her food for her whole seder, right? And then not long after, he came out with a very happy face, says, it's mutar, it's allowed, because he recognized that if he had to try finding a way to make it allowed, or else this poor lady would have lost her meal for Pesach. Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot. Asks R Ovadia Yosef, why do we say Manishtana on Pesach and not on Sukkot? On Sukkot we go to the Sukkah. Manishtana halayla hazeh, that we're sitting in the Sukkah, not sitting in the house. We should also do a Manishtana on Sukkot. So he answers that unfortunately Bnei Israel in the Galut has been traveling. We're here in Canada now, but you ask around, most people were not born here, right? And who knows, I was born here, who knows where my kids are going to end up going. We're always on the move. So being in a sukkah, that's our natural habitat, is being on the move. But having a beautiful table and beautiful family around this, that's unfortunately not our natural. Yes, we have on Shabbat in a certain way, but to have everyone really tries to get together, the grandparents, the parents, the children, everyone tries around the Pesach Seder. And everyone flies in to try being beside their family. So that's a manishtana, that wow, we're actually here acting like kings. That's something that's different. And to end, in the manishtana, by the way, he brings a side point that He said, we dip 2 times. So the dipping of 2 times, he says, what's the difference? In general, we dip once. Here we dip 2 times. Shetei pa'amim. Shetei pa'amim is the karpas and the maror. He brings opinions that say, including the Rambam, that says to dip the matzah in charoset. So we don't do that. And when it comes to matzah, we eat the matzah alone, not to eat it with the salakrit or anything like that. That's for the matzah, not to eat it with the matbucha. That's just to eat it on its own. But we could fulfill this when it comes to the korech, the sandwich. It could be matzah, maror, and charoset as well. So he asks a question also from the Bet HaLevi that was sitting at his seder with his son of Chaim of Brisk, and he says to him, he says, look, on the night of the seder, we remember the maror, the bitter that the Egyptians, they put us through. And we remember the charoset, which is like the bricks and the mortar that was and the cement that was used. Why don't we remember the Yatzata B'Rechush Gadol, that we came out of Egypt with great wealth? Why isn't that remembered over here? So similar to the other answer, he says, well, unfortunately, Bnei Israel is still experiencing the difficulty of the galut, so we could connect to the Merirut. But all that wealth that Bnei Israel took from the Egyptians, it's gone now. You know, I came from those people that came out of Egypt. Give me some of that wealth. It's gone now. So he says this is something that we can connect to. Nevertheless, the ruling is that one should try making his Pesach Seder table as beautiful as could be. Bring out his most beautiful kelim. And he brings that there's some that say, try to even borrow kelim from others to make your table beautiful. And that should be also a zecher to the Yatzata B'Rechush Gadol. And it came out with great wealth. We came out of Mitzrayim. And look, there's a display here of wealth. There's a display of beautiful kelim on the Seder table as well. Shvat Hashem, may we have an amazing Pesach. May we continue to learn, to grow, and Bezrat Hashem will be zocheh to Shana Hazeh B'Yerushalayim Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Ve'amir B'chanan Yamin HaKashav V'Ritzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lezakot את ישראל לפיכך ירבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ זמן צדקו הגדיל תורה וידיר